Ladies and gentlemen, back for another week. Eagles Elite. We already on episode 10, y'all. We ain't got to the season yet, but I just want to remind everybody we are the Super Bowl champs, reigning and defending. That's not going to
Yep.
change until the season's over. You see that? You see that? You know what it is. We doing the thing. But it's great to celebrate last year. That's why I got on the trophy hat and all that good stuff. That's cute. But now it's time to talk about moving forward. What we gonna do this year? Are we gonna repeat? What we gonna do? There's one way we can definitely find out. It's plain and simple. You come here, we gonna tell you. No, I'm just kidding. But we're gonna talk about games, you know what I'm saying, different things that are happening, different things that are going on. Preseason, we got camp next week. We got a couple of camp battles. We're gonna shoot a little bit of that. We got a lot of veterans that were brought in. So we got an opportunity to kind of talk about some of those guys that were brought in, who we think is going to be successful, all that stuff, who may have a big role, who may not have as big of a role, stuff like that. Of course, we got our first meeting with the Cowboys and the Commanders. Those were back-to-back weeks that we'll be talking about. A little bit of news. I know there's at least one piece of news out there that definitely want to make sure we talk about. We're going to get into all that, y'all. So make sure you sharing, making sure everybody you can get in, you getting in, let them know, come and tap in, talk with us, be part of the community. It don't matter if you agree with us or not. It's all love. We still all
No
Eagles
matter if
fans.
you
We
like us
agree.
or not.
One thing we
Just
can't
show.
all agree on, we champions. They get it. But before we get into it, we need a little bit of extra sauce, a little bit of extra juice, a little bit of extra pump. So let's get it.
It's swatted. The kick is away. And the kick is... It's good! And the Eagles win!
It's hard to come to South Philadelphia and leave here with the win. You just don't come to Philadelphia and leave here with the win.
Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let the celebration begin.
All right, y'all. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know how we start off. But before we do, Lil G Griffith in the building, a couple of comments. So let's just hop right into them real quick. Lil G says, I'm a big fan of Eagles season. Better Eagles kick Cowboys' butts. Lil G says it every week. I agree every week. Lil G also says working out at YCA today. That's what's up. Got to get your squall on.
Mm-hmm.
So got that out the way. It's time to get into it, y'all. Off-season news and rumors, all that good stuff. Y'all know how we do it. We call that your Eagles updates. Diva, anything you want to throw out there?
I ain't really seen too many updates or Eagles news. I just know our boy Jalen Hurts has been in Greece with the Jordan brand, and everybody that's part of the Jordan brand hanging out with Michael Jordan and a few other people. And he should be back. I think they said he'll be back to go ahead and report to training camp. But I ain't really seen too much going on. We're kind of quiet right now until next week, and I know that's when we'll be buzzing.
The greatness, I think, is what is it called? The greatness, something greatness.
Mm-hmm.
The thing he's on with all the Jordan brand people. But there is one bit of news for sure. So Fred Warner came out and said basically Jalen Hurts is one of those guys. I think it was in an interview. Jalen Hurts is one of those guys you want to play with. You don't want to see him if you have to play against him. You don't ever really want to have to play against him. And this is coming from Fred Warner. So we got all these talking heads, sports personalities, and all this stuff to keep saying Jalen Hurts is not even a top 5 quarterback, right? Okay, whatever. I ain't even going to get into that no more. But what I am going to say is one of the best linebackers in the league from a rival. Fred Warner saying Jalen Hurts is a guy you want to play with, and you don't want to see it if he's not on your team. So we got one of the guys that's one of the best in the game right now saying it. But we'll still have people say, "Oh, he's not good enough." We'll even have people within the fan base say the same thing. It's all good though, because one of the things that I do like about Jalen is he don't say nothing, but he uses all that for fuel.
Mm-hmm.
So the more y'all do this, the more fuel you're giving that man. So continue, keep it up. I'm not even gonna start arguing about them. I'm gonna let y'all have it because you keep fueling my QB. Fuel QB1, give him more food, make him eat more, make him fatter, make him more angry. That's all I'm gonna say about it.
Back.
You know what I'm saying? We mellowing out. Now we getting into where things getting good, things getting juicy. Fun times in the off season. We got camp coming up next week.
We do.
And we got a couple of things about camp to talk about. Right? But a little bit of a preview. Y'all know we got two to talk about. So before we get to these off-season discussions, I want y'all to be thinking about these, though. I want y'all to be ready. So when we slide back to them, y'all are ready. But we're going to get into this first of the two matchups from this past season. And this is going to be game 9 and 10, I believe. So it's going to be game 9, if I remember correctly. Week 10, but game 9, because we already had our bye.
Mm-hmm.
So let's slide into that. And this would have been our first meeting against the Dallas Cowboys, the good old Cowboys. And this was a meeting in Arlington because they don't play in Dallas. You know, they play in Arlington, Texas.
It's right outside. It ain't too far.
That's why. That's why I call them the Arlington football team, because they're not playing in Dallas. You know what I'm saying? They can be right outside. That's fine. Concord is right outside of Charlotte, so is Huntersville. You know what I'm saying? But the Hornets don't play in Concord or Huntersville. They play in Charlotte. The Panthers play in Charlotte. They are the Carolina Panthers, but they play in Charlotte. They'll play outside. So I want everybody to remember. These dudes don't even play in their own state. City. They play another city. But as expected, we handled Dallas. Dallas got the work they deserved. You know, you always get the same caveats. Cooper Rush. We didn't have Dak. It happens. It's part of the game. Cooper Rush is supposed to be. Remember the other year when he had to play for Dak? They was talking about replacing Dak with Cooper Rush. So what happened? Tell you what happened. The defense got the hold to Mr. Rush. 34-6. Diva, I'm gonna go and let you start off. I know you're gonna drop some of the stats and stuff for us. Talk about it.
Let me bring those stats up. But I mean, that game, it was exactly what we wanted. I mean, I feel like even if Dak would have been in there with the team that we had this year, I feel like it still would have been the same outcome. I don't think it would have been no different. I mean, we just went in there and balled out. We went in there and handled business this year because, you know, year before that, we ain't handled business like we were supposed to. So, being able to go in there and handle that business and get him that business, yeah, that was what we needed. You know what I'm saying? And not only once, but twice we went in there and handled that business. 34-6. Jalen Hurts he only threw 14 times, so he made 14 attempts 20 times for 202 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Kenny Pickett did come in for a little bit. He was 1 for 2 for 5. Saquon Barkley had 14 carries for 66 yards. Jalen Hurts had 1 rushing, 7 carries. Well, he had 7 carries, 56 yards, 2 touchdowns. Saquon didn't have a touchdown that game. Will Shipley came in for 9 carries, 34 yards. Gainwell had 7 carries for 30 yards. Kenny Pickett even had 1. He had 1 carry for 1 yard. A.J. Brown had 109 yards, no touchdowns. Jahan Dotson had 27 yards, no touchdowns. Goddard actually had a touchdown, 25 yards. Smitty had 14, 2 carries or 2 receptions, no touchdowns. Um, yeah, so really that was all Jalen Hurts. Zach Bond had three tackles, 5 assists. N'Kobe Dean had 3. He was 3 for 3. Blankenship was 3 for 1. Isaiah Rogers was 3 for 1. Cooper DeJean was 3. CJ GJ was 2 with 5 assists. Jalen Carter had 2 with 2 assist tackles. Milton Williams had 2. Quinyon Mitchell had 2. Orrin Burks had 2. Brandon Graham had 1. Nolan Smith had 1. Bryce Huff actually showed up in that game. I'm surprised. Jalen Hurts even had a tackle. Ajumbo had a tackle. Sweat had a tackle. Trottermeyer Jr. had a tackle. Shipley had 2 kick returns for 64 yards. Gainwell had 1 for 23. And Jake Elliott hit both of his field goals. He was 2 for 2 for 100 yards. So we went there and handled business, man. Like we ain't let them score a touchdown. They scored 2 field goals, and that was it. That was all. It was over. Cooper Rush only had 45 yards. Had 13. He threw 13 times for 13 out of 23. 45 yards in whole 4 quarters. Defense was all over them boys, as they call themselves.
They didn't seem like them boys in this game, did they?
It was them little boys that game.
Yeah, this was an interesting matchup. Just to go a little deeper, a little bit of team stuff here. So, total yards: Eagles had 348, Cowboys had 146. Passing yards, we had 161, Cowboys had 49. They almost had 100 yards rushing. They had 97, but we had 187. Yards per play for us, it was 5.4. For them, it was 2.6. All these are the reasons why they didn't get a touchdown. 3 of 14 on third down. We were 4 of 11 on third down. We were 1 of 1 on fourth. They were 2 of 2 on fourth. So they did convert both of their fourth down attempts. And the funny thing is, we only had 9 more plays in them. We had 65. They had 56. We actually allowed 5 sacks. They only allowed 3. They punted 6 times. We punted 4. But they did lose 4 fumbles and an interception. We did have 1 fumble loss and an interception. So we won a turnover battle. You have to win a turnover battle in divisional matchups to win. So a lot of important things. Time of possession was actually pretty close. So a lot of things, if you didn't see the score in this game, you would have thought this game was a little bit closer, until you see the turnovers. But turnovers aside, you would think this game was pretty close if you saw, first downs, third down efficiency, those things. But when you see the yards, pass yards, rush yards, yards per play, you understand what happened. Like Diva said, Dallas got dominated. They scored 2 field goals, one in the first quarter, one in the second quarter. They didn't score again after that. So in the whole second half, donut. No points. And, again, I remember up until the game, listening to people talk about the game, pick the game, and media and everything. Oh, this Eagles still hadn't beat anybody. And now that they play Dallas, we're going to see because, even without that, Dallas is a good enough team to beat the Eagles. Recurring pattern. Eagles can't do this. Eagles can't do that. Picking against the Eagles. And, as a fan, you kind of sit there and say, really, really? But, I get it. You didn't want to believe because you didn't want us to be that good. I get it. Right? They didn't want us to be that good. They wanted us to be just all right.
Right.
They wanted us to be average. We weren't average. 34-6 says Dallas was not able to play with us. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes a team is just dominant, and the Eagles were dominant. mean, you bust down the Cowboy stats real quick, just add a little more insult to injury because I enjoy doing that. Rico Dowdle only had 12 carries for 53 yards. He averaged 4.4 yards a carry. Ezekiel Elliott, a blast from the past, 6 for 22. Trey Lance was their best rusher. Average, he had 3 for 17, average 5.7. CeeDee Lamb had a run, and Cooper Rush had 2 runs for 1 yard. And then receiving, I mean, nobody had 25 yards or more receiving, and that makes sense because he only threw for 45. So a good game by the Eagles, more of a complete game. I think they hear all the stuff. Trayvon Diggs did get a pick. The pickoff hurts, but other than that, really well played game. I don't expect perfect play, but this is darn near close as far as execution, putting up points, putting over 30 points, holding your opponent to just 6 points. This is what you want to see from your team, right? Divisional game, a game you want to win, and we making it happen. MJS says, after that game, I couldn't even make fun of Dallas. They were so bad, I almost felt mean. They suck. I feel you, MJS, but it didn't apply to me. I still made fun of them.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I still made fun of them.
Never feel bad for them suckers.
I mean, I know about maybe a handful of Dallas fans that I was like, man, those dudes really know, football, and they respectful, they cool. So I ain't gonna go at them like that. But the rest of y'all, I had a ball.
Oh, no mercy.
The rest of y'all, no love. I ain't feel bad for you at all. It was fun to see you go through it. But there's a lot that the Philadelphia Eagles need to do. A lot that they needed to do the rest of that season. Let me say that. And I feel like they accomplished a lot of that. I feel like they did a really good job of saying, we're going to take this over. We're going to make things happen. We're not going to wait. We're going to start taking things in our own hands. Games that we should win, we're going to go out and we're going to beat people. Games that people think we shouldn't win, we're going to go out and show you that we should. But we definitely not going to let y'all clowns run around and just be able to say whatever they think they want.
Right.
And it takes the whole team. It takes a unit being together. One of the main reasons why I was upset about CJ wasn't his play. It was the attitude that he brought. And replacing that is going to be paramount. And maybe it's not the same type of attitude, because based on, what's come out, it feels more like they didn't want that type of attitude no more. And they wanted him gone. And it's their team. That's how you want to roll. That's cool. But you got to have somebody that has that intensity. Maybe you want to see it different, but you need a dog or two on there. So one of the things I'll be concerned about in camp and in the preseason is who's going to be the dogs. Who's going to be the dogs in the defense? Not the quiet leaders who lead by example. No, I need somebody chirping. Brandon Graham ain't going to be out there running his mouth like he's been doing for so many years. You got to replace that mouth, and you got to replace CJ's mouth and attitude. So those are things that we're going to be looking at and saying, okay, hopefully we make it happen. Hopefully we get it done. But you know what? That's a problem for another day. That is a problem for another day. It's coming, but it ain't here yet. All right, y'all. So let's buzz into this off-season discussion here. Y'all forgive me, I got a little congestion stuff over here. These allergies ain't playing with me this year, smacking me all around. But so first thing, let's start off with trying to decide which way I want to go. I want to try and make it flow, make some sense here. All right, so let's start with let's just start with where it's at. All right. Free agent additions looking to make a name for themselves. So we're going to talk about some of the veterans that we brought in. And Diva, I'll give you some names, and you just tell me if you think this is going to be somebody that's going to be able to have a season kind of like Zach Bond, or is it going to be somebody who, going to be able to play their position, or somebody just may have a small role. So go over some names here. So the first one, Adoree Jackson. What do you see in store for Adoree Jackson this year?
I see Adoree coming in and bringing some heat to that side of the defense. I mean, he was a hard player when he was with the Giants. I mean, when you with the Giants, man, listen, like you could be a very good player, but it's not really seen just because of the way that the Giants are ran, the way the plays are being called for them, the way the defense is set up. Like it's just all types of just effery over there. Okay, so I think with him being over here in Vic's scheme, I think that he will really flourish. I'm excited to see him over here because I mean, we lost some people on that side. So we definitely need somebody that's gonna come in right away and fill those shoes. So I feel like he's gonna be one of those. And I've been hearing, so I'm just hoping, everything translate on this field. I mean, of course, when he first get in there, he might be lost a little bit because he just learned the playbook. But I think once he get it and understand it, then he could be all right.
Yeah. What I also like about Adoree is he's a little bit of a mature player. He's been around a little bit, so he's could be one of those veteran voices in a young cornerback, and he'll compete. Will he win? That we don't know, but he will compete, and that's going to be important in depth. Somebody goes down, somebody gets hurt, maybe somebody's not living up to the expectation, and we need to make a move. If he doesn't end up being a starter, he'll be a guy that can come in, and we shouldn't lose the beat. So injury, poor play, things like that. I think he can come in and be that guy for us if he doesn't end up being a starter right away. So the next guy we'll talk about is Azeez Ojulari. So we'll flip it on this one. You went first on the last one. Ooh. So Ojulari, coming from the Giants, it was tough for him at first. Obviously, a lot of injuries, but he's got to play better. He's got to raise his game. He's got to be healthy. Those are all things he's got to do. But it's good because he's going to be in a situation where he's going to have a lot of guys around. He's going to be in a system who I feel like if he didn't fit it, they wouldn't have brought it in. Because I think we learned last year, if somebody doesn't fit the system, don't bring them in. I think we learned that last year. So I think in this system, Ojulari is going to be a guy that can come in, show a lot more. He's going to play really well. And he's going to be a guy that's going to be a benefit in the rotation for us.
I mean, if he don't fit, he ain't going to be on the field. Like Bryce Huff went on that field.
Yeah, I don't think we're doing no more than Bryce Huff type moves. I think now we understand and get dudes that fit. Because that worked last year because of some of the depth we had, but we can't afford it this year.
No.
Yeah, we can't afford none of that mess. We got to have dudes come in that, he may not be a star player, but you got to give us something. And these cats, man, everybody else really kind of gave us something, but he didn't.
He didn't give us nothing, man. Yeah. Nothing.
He was all right in like maybe 2 games, right? Let's be honest. There wasn't
he was all right in one game. He showed up in the one I just mentioned, which was the Washington game with 1 tackle. Other than that, the boy was opposite. I'm just being honest, man. I'm just being honest. Boy was inactive half the dang old season. So I mean,
yeah, he was hurt part of the season. Then it was hard to get back into the rotation. But you know what? If you played better, you would have got back into the rotation too. That's a lot of things he did. The Huff that was that bad move. How he makes a bad move, I feel like if he makes too many moves, he normally makes a bad one. We can handle one bad one with no problem. We just can't have this man coming out and having a bad moves all the time. But he's been a lot better lately, so I ain't gonna really fault him too much. I ain't gonna let him off the hook, but I ain't gonna fault him too much either. Give him a little bit of benefit of the doubt, baby benefit of the doubt, maybe something like that. All right, next, Josh Uche, another guy we brought in here. What you think about Josh Uche?
Where you come from?
New England.
I don't know. I mean, I think I didn't really hear his name too much, but I think that hopefully he could be a good, if he's not going to be on the starting roster, hopefully he could be a good, depth in case somebody get hurt. That's what I think. I mean, he could come out and become a starter, but I don't think he will be a starter. I think he'd probably be a rotational guy.
He gonna bust on the edge too. A couple of years ago, he had 11.5 sacks. So this is a guy that can get to the quarterback. They had gotten pretty bad there, so you kind of got to a situation where you like, yeah, this ain't it.
I mean, sometimes it be like that over there. You know what I'm saying? Because they just, I don't know what was going on over there last year. So, I mean, like I said, it just depends. Sometimes a lot of players don't do good in one system, but when they come to another system and learn it, then they're able to adjust. And, I mean, look at Zach Bond. I mean, Zach Bond, anybody really know who he was over there with the Saints? He really even, you know what I'm saying? He came over here, got in Vic's system, and it just was a whole beast. So, I mean, he could be one of those. Could be one of those Zach Bonds on the load we don't know about.
So another guy I think that could have interesting impact. We'll talk about A.J. Dillon. How you feeling about A.J. Dillon and his role in the offense?
I mean, if you're not going to let Will Shipley play, I mean, you definitely need bowling ball with feet. I feel like, a lot was on Saquon last year, because who knew that Gainwell would gain well, because the year before that, Gainwell was not gaining well. But I think you just need somebody with size. I mean, I remember when we had Ajayi Ajayi and
Garrett smoking on the blunt.
Yes, and that worked so well. You know what I'm saying? You had a down south runner, downhill runner. You know what I mean? So you had a combination of what you needed, and I feel like that's what we need. I don't feel like everything needs to be on Saquon. I don't feel like we need to run him raggedy. So I like A.J. Dillon being the second running back for, you know what I'm saying, Saquon. So if they feel like, all right, well, we got Saquon, we can lock him down. Then you got A.J. Dillon, big tail coming in there. Like, dude is big. You know what I'm saying? He a big dude. So you got him busting up through the seams. Child, listen. You use him on them short yardages. That's what I think you need to use him on. Let him bust up that seam and bust through them people and be out. That's what I think. And I like that because we always wanted another big back that we could use. Like, it shouldn't just be on one back. Like, for the last few years, we just had everything on one back, and it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah, I agree. And you want to have that change of pace. Maybe you have a game where Saquon's style is not really working out. Now you have a guy you can bring in and say, all right, for this game, let's let you eat a little bit and see what you can do. Some of those close yardage situations, maybe we don't have to use the tush push as much because we got A.J. Dillon. So fantasy-wise, some people be upset, but trust me when I tell you, if you picking Jalen Hurts as your quarterback, you are in a bad situation in fantasy anyway. So it is what it is.
And then maybe Jalen Hurts ain't got to run the ball as much either.
Right, having a second back because you can even employ two back systems or you can even put A.J. Dillon at fullback.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of different things you'd be able to do having another guy that's a big, what do you say, big meaty man. So it should work out well. It should work out really well for us. I think it'll be something to definitely be interesting. And those are guys. We have some other guys. We had like Harrison Bryant, Kyle Granson, Avery Williams, and others. But I think the ones we talked about are guys who I feel like would have that ability to kind of have a major role. And I think that's very important.
Mhm.
All right. Got a comment, so let's go ahead and talk about that. So MJS says Aziz has the most potential. I mean, these are all guys who are signed to short-term deals because they weren't getting it done right where they were at, or they just got tired of being there. I will say, I think depth is important too, and I think all these guys can provide depth. And that could be as a one-dimensional player, right? Guy like Uche,
Mhm.
maybe you're just going to be in situations where you're attacking the hole, you're hitting people, you're playing like the edge. That's fine. If you can do that well, you can help us because depth is important for us, and depth is something we kind of looking at like, yo, who's going to be the depth? I was talking about that last week. Who's going to be the depth? Not saying that there aren't guys that can be depth, but we understand the way we played defense last year. You have to be deep, not two players deep. You got to have versatile guys. So some of these guys can really make an impact. Maybe they're not going to be stars. Maybe Aziz is the one. Maybe MJS is right. Maybe Aziz is going to be the one that can do the most. But training camp is going to tell us a lot about what's happening with these guys. A whole lot.
Whole lot. Mhm.
And it's going to be interesting to see what plays out in training camp. But the next thing we're going to talk about. So we got a couple of battles we know about, in training camp. Right? We got a couple of positions that aren't 100% this guys or that guy. You got guys that look like they're kind of in a driver's seat, but nobody's taking over, so to speak.
Right.
So, like for instance, we talked about Josh Uche, right? He's going to be the backup right on the depth chart to Nolan Smith. So that's an important position because Nolan Smith was playing that backup last year, right? So he's going to advance to be the starter, but you still need somebody behind him to make plays.
Mm-hmm.
Aziz Ojulari, he's going to be Jalen Hunt's backup right now, as far as how things do. So these are things to look into because you're not 100% sure if it's going to stay that way, and also how it's going to play out through camp. Some guys you could think, oh, they got a chance to make the squad and be a starter, and they end up getting cut. We have to see how all that goes as it plays out. But I think when we're talking battles, the first one we have to look at is Keely Ringo or Dory Jackson, right? Because that's definitely a battle. There is not a definitive starter at that position.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say Ringo probably gets the first shot because he's gonna be more comfortable. But I will kind of back out of my own statement and say Ojulari has a decent chance too. He's the more veteran guy. If he could pick things up, if he can play well off of Quinyon Mitchell, then he may get that as well. It's definitely gonna be a battle that's gonna come down to a couple of weeks of camp at the earliest. It's gonna take some time to figure out who it's gonna be. But the fact that you have Jackson and Ringo competing, that means if Ringo wins, he's beating somebody out. He didn't just get handed a job after not being the starter previously. So bringing in a Dory Jackson, I like the move a lot because, again, you need guys to push. Your thoughts?
I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I think Adore Jackson will beat Keely Ringo out.
Okay.
Keely Ringo's always looks good in practice, but it doesn't always translate on the field. I really think he needs to work on like his stop and go speed because Keely Ringo be just out there gone. You know what I'm saying? Like I think he really needs to work on his stop and go speed. I think he need to work on his awareness a little bit because I know a lot of times he's not aware of where his man is and what position needs to be playing. But the boy can hit. Like the boy can hit. I can't say that. But I really think Adorian Jackson probably will beat out Keely Ringo. I guess my opinion is, Keely Ringo been there 3 years, and now you just now having, I guess, faith in the boy. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's still something there, that they feel like he ain't quite there yet. I'm not saying he this might be his year, but I honestly think Adorian Jackson will eventually beat Keely Ringo out of that spot.
Okay. Now, this one, some people may argue is not really a battle, but I believe it is. We got to have a starting strong safety. So we've got Sidney Brown, questions with the durability. We've got Andrew Makuba, the rookie, the second-round pick. And then we got Lewis Sign from Buffalo came in as well. I think that's an open position for all three of those guys. I think everybody has their opportunity to be that guy and be that starting strong safety. I'm gonna let you go first on this one. Who do you think's going to win the job?
I'm gonna be honest. My high hopes is that Makuba will come in and be that Dejon Cooper on that side of the field and that Quinyon Mitchell on that side of the field. Because I was a huge Sidney Brown fan. I was. But my question with him is he healthy? And a lot of times players, when they get ACLs, injuries, they don't come back the same. And I felt like he wasn't the same last year. Like, dude was on special teams last year. You know what I'm saying? And then his footwork, he's another one that just be running and flying everywhere. Like, you got to work on your speed. You got to work on your stop and go. You got to know where you should be on the field. You know what I'm saying? At certain times, because there was some place he was just out there where he should have been tackling men, and I don't know where he was at. Like, I don't. You know what I'm saying? So there's a little worry there. Yeah. There's a little worry for me there with Sidney. He just never really healthy. I've been watching Makuba and Jadid get out there and really get themselves in shape. Like, I think Makuba is ready. I think Makuba, just watching some of his gameplay from Texas, I think he's very versatile too. And I like that. So I think my hopes is that, he does come in and be one of those rookies like Quinyon and Dejean who get out there and play their spot and out there the rest of the year. That's it. That's all, unless they get hurt.
Yeah. I'm curious because here's how I look at it. I think if we're talking straight talent, right? Makuba, if he's ready, may be the best option. If we want the guy that we feel comfortable with in the system, then Brown's been there. He should know a little bit more, even though he's on special teams. And it normally does take you the year after you return from the Achilles injury to kind of be more like yourself. So ACL. You have the year, ACL. I'm thinking Achilles has just been thinking
so many of that, I know.
Yeah, everybody in basketball got Achilles injury now. But the ACL, it takes you the year after you return from your ACL for you to really be yourself again. So I think last year was that we know you're not going to be yourself. So we're just going to put you on special teams and let you just run north and south and hit people. But we expect more as of now pre-camp from you. But I want to point out Lewis Sign, or seeing people say it different ways. I say Sign, Lewis Sign from Buffalo. He's a guy that doesn't have the, I don't think, ceiling that Makuba has, doesn't have the experience in the system, but he's the veteran of the three. So we may see a situation where a Sign ends up sliding up the depth chart and being a starter, at least to begin the season, because he's going to know those situations like you talk about with Brown not knowing certain places to be, kind of happy feetish a little bit at times, kind of drifting off at times and just doing his own thing. Sign's not going to do that, right? I don't think Makuba's going to do that, but is he going to be ready beginning of the season? So to me, it's definitely a three-way battle because I feel like Sign may actually be the better option just based on what you're going to need from that position from week one. Because the fact of the matter is, we're coming out against the Arlington football team week 1. Right? They got us open at night. So we got to come out. The defense got to look good. So Sign might be that guy to make it look good in the beginning, and then maybe Brown gets it, or maybe Makuba takes over at some point. But I don't know. I just got a feeling that Sign might be the one to start the season as a starting strong safety. I got a little feeling. It might just be indigestion of gas, but I got a little feeling.
Shut up.
We're gonna see. Now, of course, another battle that we got is right guard. It looks like it's gonna be Tyler Steen right now, based on the chart and how they move people around, because it was kind of supposed to be a battle between him and I think it was Kendall Lamb, but then they've got Lamb as the backup on the other side, on the left side.
Mm-hmm.
So battle might be over, may not, because Matt Pryor is the backup right guard right now, and Matt Pryor is the guy we got last year that's kind of versatile, so he could play any of those positions. So maybe you end up making Kendall Lamb the starter, just say you go that route, then you move Pryor to the backup left tackle, and then Steen becomes the backup right guard again like he was last year. Right. Kenyon Green from Houston.
Listen, so they got him behind Landon Dickerson, and I actually feel like Trevor Keegan. Now, unless Stout University done a miracle over here, I feel like Trevor Keegan should be behind Landon Dickerson. That's just my thought. I don't feel like that boy big enough
with your thought at all
to be behind Landon Dickerson if Landon Dickerson go out.
Your thought process or anything.
I mean, because this is the line you got. This is the line that protects Jalen and Saquon. This is the line that pushes the tush push, that blocks when Saquon gets out in the middle of the field and is gone. So I don't see this. I don't see this kid. I want Trevor Keegan. Trevor Keegan should be. I hope this changes. I hope this is just they just playing with us right now. But I hope by the time this season starts, that it's flip flop, because I don't understand.
Yeah, Kenyon Green. I mean, finding out that they basically told CJ we're gonna release you if we can't find somewhere to trade you. Now it makes sense that you took Kenyon Green, because the whole time I'm like, you really gonna trade CJ and get this dude back? Like you said, Stoutland University would have to work its biggest miracle reclamation project so far for this to even be okay. And it's not necessarily a battle, but it's a concern when you look and you say, man, if something happened, Landon Dickerson got to come out of the game, we're going to put Kenyon Green in. Man, Jalen Hurts going to be back there running for his life. They're going to put like 5 defenders right there, like running him.
Listen, Jalen will be out there face planted. You hear me?
Jalen Hurts will take it back to college. He'll be running QB options. Run out to the side, throwing the ball out like an option play. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to get something going the other way. It's going to have to be to the right because the left is going to be compromised. So, yeah, I definitely agree. Even though it's not a battle because we know who the starter is going to be, that backup battle may need to do some flip-flopping there. And then the one spot that I am very interested in is going to be the wide receiver 3.
Yeah.
Of course, right now we're penciling Jahan Dotson as a starter. But remember, we did bring in Terrence Marshall, who I think has a very good opportunity to maybe supplant Jahan Dotson in the preseason, depending on in the training camp, depending on how much more comfortable Dotson and Hurts connection is. I think Terrence Marshall has a real chance to end up being our wide receiver 3. What do you think?
I think so. Yeah, I really think so. Yeah. Or maybe even Smith. I mean, Smith might be, he might come in and do the thing. I mean, you can't count him out either.
While that is true, I will say that I kind of feel like Anaya Smith, they don't really have a lot of faith in him. Because they let that man go. Luckily, they were able to grab him back. That man was in Miami for a minute. I thought he was gone.
Me too.
But like you said, yeah, you go on the field and you play hard, you can get it back.
Mhm.
You definitely can get it back.
I mean, you really ain't got many options. I mean, because I don't even see I see Johnny Wilson. He behind AJ.
Yeah, they all. I mean, you still got both of those guys there, and you got Terrence Marshall. So you got a good, I think, second group if you have to put any of those guys in too.
Right.
So yeah, I don't really have a problem with how the setup is at all. I'm good with it. But we are going to jump to our top 100. We've got some players that have been revealed so far. No Eagles yet. We're expecting quite a few, but none yet in the first 25. But still, we're going to give them to you. And then, you can feel how you feel about them. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't. But we'll get into it here. So at 100, we got making his debut. Wasn't ranked last year, Ladd McConkey, the Los Angeles Chargers wide receiver. Had a good year. 82 receptions, 114 with 1,149 receiving yards, 7 receiving touchdowns. So, a solid year for a rookie. Played in 16 games. Behind him at number 99, we got Leonard Williams. 64 tackles, 16 tackles for loss, 11 sacks, an interception, and a touchdown. I think they get you in the top 100. He wasn't ranked last year either. At 98, Aaron Jones, Vikings running back. 17 games, 1,138 yards, 5 rushing touchdowns, 51 receptions, 408 receiving yards, 2 receiving touchdowns. So, makes sense as well. These are guys right on that cusp. Another guy that wasn't there last year got into it. Drake London's at 97. He wasn't ranked last year. 100 receptions, 1,271 receiving yards, 9 receiving touchdowns. So, a much better year out of Drake London. They have something to do with quarterback change there, Michael Penix? I believe so. And then at 96, up 3 spots from last year, Levante David, Tampa Bay Buccaneers linebacker, 122 tackles, 5.5 sacks, and 1 interception, 1 fumble recovery. Number 95, the ex-Eagle Josh Sweat, 41 tackles, 9 tackles for loss, 8 sacks. Now a member of the Arizona Cardinals. Good luck with making the list that next year. He wasn't ranked last year. He's 95th now.
I don't even know why Detroit he ranked this year. You ranked off that Super Bowl game because that's really the only time you showed up, my dude.
It's a whole tangent. It's a whole tangent. I agree with you. It's just a whole tangent. Sam Laporta, Detroit Lions tight end, 94th this year. He's down 14 spots, 60 receptions, 722 receiving yards, 7 receiving touchdowns. You got to follow if your stats are that. I understand injuries and different things, but hey, it is what it is. Things happen. Not ranked last year, ranked 93rd this year. Kansas City Chiefs center Creed Humphrey. He had 7 QB pressures allowed, no sacks allowed. So he played pretty good in over 1,000, well, over 1,100 snaps. So, I mean, definitely, I think deserving. Jesse Bates falls 18 spots to free safety from the Falcons. 102 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 4 interceptions, 1 fumble recovery, 1 touchdown, and then he defended 10 passes as well. So a little bit of everything, which is what you expect from your free safety. Dropping down, not as good of a year as he had before, but things happen. This is an interesting pick that he still made the list at all. At number 91, down 55 spots. I'm sure this is a major slide for this year. Tua Tagovailoa played in 11 games, 2,867 passing yards, 19 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 49 rushing yards, and 7 fumbles. I want to say this. Tua Tagovailoa, Miami Dolphins offensive coordinator, Miami Dolphins head coach, Miami Dolphins quarterback coach, Miami Dolphins line coach, Miami Dolphins third assistant on offense, Miami Dolphins special teams coach, Miami Dolphins owner, players, everybody. Do not run the ball, sir. Do not run the ball. Go down. I don't want to see you get hurt again, dude. I don't want to see you have another concussion. I don't want you to be in that type of situation. Don't run the ball, bro. Don't even run it. Just throw it away and go down.
Well, there's rumors that they might be cutting ties.
They may be, but I'm just saying if you go somewhere else, wherever you're playing at, just go down.
I mean, I don't know why
Your
the
job
boy ain't
is to
learned his
always
lesson
go
yet.
down, sir.
I mean, but I don't know why he ain't learned his
Right.
lesson yet. My boy trying to
I don't know,
definitely have
but just go down.
CTE at a young age.
He probably already got CT.
He
He already
probably
got
do.
CT. I mean, this man has been concussed about 3 times in the past 2 years.
Man, that man been
All right,
concussed
so
6 times.
move on to the next set. At least I was just talking about the last 2 years, about 3 times. Overall, yeah. So at number 90, we have Zach Allen. He wasn't ranked last year, defensive lineman, Denver Broncos. 61 tackles, 15 for loss, 8.5 sacks, 40 quarterback hurries, and 1 safety. Took him 6 years to get on the list, but he's there. You know, it's hard to get on the list. Another not ranked player for last year, James Cook, Buffalo Bills running back. He does deserve to be there. 207 attempts, 1,009 yards, 16 rushing touchdowns, 32 receptions, 258 receiving yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns. He's come a long way. I'm gonna just leave it at that. Anything you want to add? But he's come a long way.
No, he has. He deserved it.
Number 88, not ranked last year as well. Andrew Van Ginkel, outside linebacker for the Minnesota Vikings. 79 tackles, 18 tackles for loss, 11.5 sacks, 19 quarterback hurries, 2 interceptions, 2 touchdowns. He was on the Vikings. Now he's on Minnesota. He reconnected with Brian Flores, plays a system that he works well in, and lo and behold, a much better year, ranked 88th. Down another dude that had a mega drop, Quinnen Williams, defensive tackle, the Jets, down 50 spots to 87. 37 tackles, 8 for loss, 6 sacks, 18 quarterback hurries. Definitely a down year. Definitely a down year.
Well, I don't know what was going on with their defense. I don't know if it was a coordinator or what, but
They fired the head coach. It got worse, so
right.
Can't blame him. And then Laramie Tunsil, the Washington Commanders offensive tackle, newly with the Washington Commanders, was with the Texans. He's down 15 spots to 86. 1,026 snaps, 19 QB pressures allowed, 2 sacks allowed. That's those are respectable numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Kyron Williams is number 85. He's down 7 spots. Rams running back, 1,299 yards, 14 rushing touchdowns, 34 receptions, 182 receiving yards, 2 receiving touchdowns. Big part of the Rams being as good as they were last year was definitely Kyron Williams.
All facts.
And then, guy not rated last year comes in at number 84, Christian Gonzalez, the cornerback for the Patriots. Ain't too much that needs to be said. One of the things we know is the Patriots are having a downtime. Christian Gonzalez is a quality player. 59 tackles, 1 for a loss, 11 passes defended, 2 interceptions, 1 fumble recovery, and a touchdown.
Well, they might be all right this year with Verbal.
They might be. Cameron Hayward, Pittsburgh Steelers defensive tackle, up 15 spots to 83. 71 tackles, 12 for loss, 8 sacks, 20 QB hurries. Hayward had another good year, but it unfortunately, Cam, we already know what it is. At some point, Father Time is undefeated. But he wasn't last year. Not yet. Jerry Jeudy, 90 receptions, 1,229 receiving yards, 4 receiving touchdowns, makes his first appearance in the top 100. And keep in mind, this is voted on by players, coaches, and personnel. So this is all league people making these votes. These are not regular people. Finally got a chance to be a different maker, and he made it happen. Big ups to Jerry Jeudy. Trent McDuffie, Kansas City Chiefs cornerback. When you lose the guy, when you lose L'Jarius Sneed and McDuffie steps in and plays well, you did something right. 59 tackles, 6 for loss, 13 passes defended, 2 interceptions. McDuffie had a solid year.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't have a solid Super Bowl.
Did not.
Mm-hmm. He did not. All right. So a couple more people here, y'all. Because what's crazy about the list, we only got to 75 this week, which is why we waited, because we want to have enough people to actually talk about. So 80 to 75 is all we got so far. At number 80, Rashawn Gary, defensive end, Green Bay Packers, 47 tackles, 9 for loss, 15 QB hurries, 7.5 sacks, 1 pass defended, 1 forced fumble. So pretty solid stat line, but he's down 30 spots. Gary was 50th last year. Now he's down to 80th. Still didn't have a tumble like Tua did, though. Tua was down 55 spots.
I mean, I see
That's
why.
a lot. I do. And also down from last year, Rain Dakota Prescott, down from 63 to 79. 1,978 passing yards, 64.7% completion, 6.9 yards to tip, 11 passes touchdown, 8 interceptions, 54 rushes, 1 rushing touchdown. He would have been higher, all jokes aside.
Yeah, he would,
because he would have had better points. Yeah. Khalil Mack down from 49 to 78. So a little bit of a drop for him as well. 39 tackles, 6 for loss, 15 QB hurries, 6 sacks, 9 passes defended, 2 forced fumbles. Definitely an off year for Khalil Mack, but he got a name where they're going to put him in there. You know, I'm not going to try to hate on the man or nothing like that. I'm just going to say down year for him. But they was going to put him in here because he's Khalil Mack.
Right.
And not ranked last year, but all the way up to 77 this year, T. Higgins. In 12 games, he had 73 receptions, 911 receiving yards, 10 touchdowns. So if you project it over a full 16 games, yeah. But I mean, he got paid, Barrow got paid, Chase got paid. Y'all better put up some points, because on the defensive side, it's going to be some trouble.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they'll put up points, but they always let them come back.
Trouble. Because the defense is struggling. You're paying the quarterback and 2 wide receivers. You have to put up points. All right. Not ranked and jumping all the way up to 76 this year. Vita Vea, the defensive tackle from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We saw Vita Vea up close and personal last year. It did not go well for us. That was one of the games we lost early in the season. It did not go well for us against Vita Vea. But hey, we still won a Super Bowl, so I'll take a couple of losses early in the season and win a Super Bowl anytime.
Right.
Every year. Patrick Queen, linebacker, Pittsburgh Steelers, down 11 spots. He went from Baltimore to the Steelers in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
Down to 75, played really well. He had 129 tackles, 6 for loss, 5 QB hurries, 1 sack, 7 passes defended, 2 forced fumbles. Patrick Queen is a guy that's a dog. Like, he's one of those guys you just say is a dog. You see Patrick Queen line up across from him, you like, fudge. I'm gonna work today. You know that, so I don't have a problem. That's 100 275. By next week, maybe we'll have 10 more to talk about. Maybe we'll be the 80, and then well, not 80. Maybe we'll be the 60, and then we'll just to 60, and then no, not 60, maybe to 65 next week. Maybe we'll get half of the 60s, and then the rest of the 70s next week. So talk about that if it comes up. I don't know what the NFL is doing, so I'm not 100% confident how they're gonna even make things move. It's a little crazy.
We probably won't have. Listen, they probably finish dropping the rest. They'll probably drop a few every few weeks, and then by the time I think the 12th of September get here, they're being dropped there. That's when they're gonna drop most of them because they only dropping a few every Monday.
They dropped 2 on Monday, and then they dropped 3 on Wednesday. That's what I've seen because they've been doing it for 3 weeks. That's why we only got 25. It's crazy. And they'll drop the rest by the end of the week, but it's not like we could talk about the end of the week now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right. Steve McCain says, "What's up, fam? What's up, Mr. McCain?"
What up, brother?
KJ State Dolo says, "I feel like Ringo would be better at safety. He has the size, speed, and hitting power." Other people said that. I'll just say this about Ringo. I like him at safety because of physicality. There's a lot of big physical at corner. There's a lot of big physical receivers in the NFL on the outside, and having somebody that's big that can hit and has no fear like Ringo out there at corner is going to be a benefit, in my opinion. But I could see him being in safety in certain packages and different things like that, just to give you another hitter in certain situations. So I'm not 100% against it, but I do like him at corner as well.
Me too.
And then E Money's in the building. What up, E Money Bentley? He says, "Go Birds, go Birds."
What up, E Money?
We got to get another championship. We just need about 7 more.
Right.
Oh man, boy, we win again this year. Yeah, it's gonna be wild on here too. Just so y'all know, that show after the Super Bowl we win this year, it's gonna be wild. I might not even be able to talk. I might be on here talking about some. Hey, what's going on, y'all?
You stupid.
Cause yeah, that's gonna get. MC Hammer says it's gonna get booked. That happen, we gonna get booked. Get booked. All right, and we got week 10. Well, game 10. I keep saying week, but game 10. We already had our bye. Those words are not interchangeable.
That was your week 11, game 10.
Yeah. Game 10, week 11. Washington Commanders, Philadelphia Eagles. This game, this one was in Philly.
In Philly.
So it was interesting because we did win, but it was 18-26, and we won because we scored 20 in the fourth quarter. Up until the fourth quarter, I know what the fudge we were doing, but it wasn't working. But we did eke it out, the victory 26-18, but it was more we eked out the victory than we beat them. And I will say this, Jaden Daniels did have some issues from getting beat up the week before, but they put him out there, so that was on the coaching staff. You should have put that gentleman out there against this defense if he wasn't 100%. But just some comparisons. Jaden Daniels, 22 of 32, 191 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Jalen Hurts, 18, 28, 220 yards. And this is, of course, through the air. You know, Hurts had a lot of games where he got touchdowns that weren't necessarily through the air. Mm-hmm. Brian Robinson Jr., 16 carries, 63 yards and a touchdown. This was one of them Saquon Barkley games. 26 carries, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns. Austin Eckler led them in receiving in the game with 8 for 89. A.J. Brown led the Eagles with 5 for 65. So from here, Diva, I'll let you take over because I'm sure you have some more stats that you'll go ahead and provide us with.
So Kenny Gainwell had 43 yards. Jalen Hurts, of course, was the third running back for this game. He had 10 attempts, 39 yards, one touchdown. Dallas Goddard had 61 yards, no touchdowns. Saquon had a
Man,
reception,
they may
52
have almost
yards.
200 total yards. Crazy.
Mhm. Smitty was, I don't know what was going on with that game. He only had 29 yards.
Yeah,
21 was the
catches though.
longest.
He did have 4
Yeah.
catches though.
Yeah, he did have 4 catches. Jahan Dotson had 1 for 8. Kenny Gainwell had 1 for 6.
Jahan Dotson
Um,
site.
yeah, his whole team. Zach Ertz had 47 for 1 touchdown. Bates had 17, no touchdowns. Terry McLaurin, he had 10. Zacchaeus, our old dude we had, he was 10.
Old day.
The old dude we had.
So do we have Zacchaeus?
Uh, Robertson, he was 9. Brown was 4. The other Brown was 4. I do know that Scary Terry was non-existent. Quinyon Mitchell had that boy locked down. Oh boy I don't even think he had no receptions at all. Total yards, we had 434. They had 264. Penalties, we were equal. We both had 4 penalties on yards, which I don't know what we was doing in that game. We was getting some dumb penalties. We had 49. They had 25. Time of the possession for us was 33 minutes, 4 seconds. Time possession for them was 26:56. Like you said, I think that was Jaden Daniels' first time really getting a taste of the Eagles and Jalen Hurts and being able to play against a competitive quarterback of your nature. And so I think he was a little nervous. He was also actually banged up, and I think he got hit again where he felt it, and I don't think he was the same after that. That might have been a Jalen Carter hit, I do believe. Um, but yeah, I mean, we kind of expected that game to be a close game. I didn't really expect that game to be no blowout. I mean, they were 7-4. We were 8-2 by that time. And so I mean, that's the game is exactly how I expected it to be. I didn't think it was going to be no blowout. So that was the first game.
I have to put this on there because anytime that we can take a shot directly or indirectly at Dallas, we have to do so. So E Money says Cowgirls 17, Eagles 60. I wouldn't be upset. I would not be upset. I would not be upset.
I just know we got to come out with these 2 games. I mean, these first 2 games was a divisional game.
Yeah, for me, this Washington game was the most concerning game up until this point because we did what we've been doing the last couple of years in that game, which is decided to wake up and play in the fourth quarter. That worked this time. It doesn't always work. We've got to come out for 4 quarters and beat people. We didn't do that in this game. We did do it later on in the season, but not in this particular matchup. And it's got to be better. It's just got to be better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't come out and have Jalen Hurts run a tush-push touchdown, then Saquon get 2 big runs, a 23-yarder and a 39-yarder, and whatnot to kind of get you back in the game. But then you give up a touchdown to Zach Ertz with less than a minute left. You really don't have time to score again, but you have to be more mean, I guess is the best way to put it. In this game, they weren't mean enough to the Commanders. They didn't put their foot on their throat and hold it and just say, we're going to make y'all hurt from the beginning. We kind of waited to the end and said, oh, wait a minute. We're going to mess around and lose this game. Hold up, y'all. Now let's start playing like we should play. It doesn't work.
Few of those games.
Yeah. This one was the most egregious because we didn't even put a touchdown up until the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Not the second half, the fourth quarter. We did nothing in the third quarter.
And we didn't get, I mean, if you look at the stats, we really didn't get our wide receivers involved like we should have either.
Or we should have went to the run more often with two backs.
Mm-hmm.
Not just one. Because, I mean, I felt like that their thing was, we're going to make y'all beat us running the ball. We're not going to let you throw the ball over the top, do all those things. Which I don't think is a good strategy, but maybe they thought it was at the time. But, yeah. Got to start kicking it up early. No points in the first quarter. Field goal in the second and third quarter. Now, don't get me wrong. Those two field goals are the reason we won the game. Let's be honest, right? But at the same time, we need touchdowns.
Yeah.
We don't need to get the fourth downs. We need to be getting 10 yards in 3 plays. We didn't do a good job of it, like I said, until the fourth quarter. And there was really 3 big plays. You know, there was the big drive that we started in the third. We finished in the fourth. There was a run by Saquon with 4:58 left on the clock, and another one like 20 seconds later. You know what I'm saying? Those were the 2 big plays.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, we didn't do a lot in the game. It's got to be more consistent. Obviously, you're not going to score a touchdown on every drive, but one of the things that we did do better on, at least at the end of the season when it counted, was putting your foot on people's throat and not let it up until the backups get in. So we take our wins around here. Don't get it twisted. We don't sit here and say, oh, we didn't win the game good enough and we should have beat them by 30, but you just have to let people know, like, we're not playing with you. We're here to take you out. And I don't think we did that to this Washington team in this game. We let them feel like, hey, we should have won this game. We could have beat them. And I want people to leave the games with the Eagles saying, man, them motherfuckers is tough. We just didn't do that at that time. That's just me. But we still won. Wins are wins. We don't go and say this is a better win because we scored 20 more points and this one's not as good because we only scored 3 more. But you have to do it for the entirety of the game, not just the last few minutes. So,
right.
It worked, but it wasn't the way we like to see the Eagles play. And as a fan, I was stressed out that game.
Me too.
She should be talking about the shots she was taking during that game.
Listen, we all was up there down with some blood pressure medicine. You hear me? For real.
Blood pressure medicine and a little shot of something.
Blood pressure cuff on and everything. Shots.
Yeah, a little shot of something to even our nerves out.
Some of that green on the side. Listen, it was everything.
But the big thing, man, we're winning games. We're in the middle of a winning streak that we all know we had. But it's how we're winning that's concerning and important at the same time. So we'll be back with the next 2 next week, y'all. Some more things to talk about. Training camp will be, a few days in, so we'll have some news and notes from that. Who knows what else? Probably a little more top 100 talking. I'm sure we'll find some more things to talk about. Y'all make sure y'all tune in next week. Make sure, like, share, subscribe. Tell your people to come check us out. Don't forget, for your friends, 4 people may not like you. Just because they don't like you, it does not mean they will not like us. And as always, it's never where you start. It's always where you finish. Hashtag Fly Eagles Fly. Hashtag Be Elite.
Be elite.
We will see y'all next week. Live in effect.
No.
Go Birds.